Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. It's Ringside Report MMA. Tonight we preview UFC 261 and talk about what's next for Jake Paul. Yeah, I guess we got to keep talking about this guy, AJ. I guess we're not rid of this guy, Jake Paul. He beat Ben Askren on Saturday, knocked him out with the quickness, and now we are stuck in this world where he's a thing in combat. So we will talk about Jake Paul here tonight. We'll also give you some picks for UFC 261. Shout out to Angelo in the chat. I'm seeing Angelo, who's a member of the team, wants to know where Freddie is. Freddie's taking the night off. I think he'll be off on Saturday night, too. We're doing a UFC 261 watch-along. He doesn't have COVID. Why are you lying? He's doing renovations.
He's off. He's always coughing.
No, he's got renovations going on in his house. You know. He told you, too. Fred's got renovations going on.
I'll tell you what the renovations are.
All right.
He's building a pole. He's building a pole. He likes the pole, and that's okay, but that's cool. Everybody has their thing. That's cool.
Likes the pole. No, he's not in his home, so he can't broadcast because he doesn't have anything set up right now. So that's why Freddie is not here tonight. He'll be back next week. But I do have Freddie's parlay. He did send his parlay. He did say that he's picking Chris Weidman, and he's also going with Valentina, Shevchenko, and Kamaru Usman. UFC has a triple main event coming up on Saturday, UFC 261, 3 title fights for the UFC's return to action in front of fans. Packed arena.
Crazy, man.
In Jacksonville, Florida.
17,000 or something like that?
I think, it's around that, like 15,000, I think. It's going to be a, sold-out arena in Jacksonville. The fans were in attendance today at the press conference. They were very much behind Jorge Masvidal. Of course, Masvidal is a Florida guy from Miami, this one in Jacksonville. So a lot of hometown action, a lot of Masvidal fans there booing Usman. So the fans made themselves known, and we'll see. The last time Usman and Masvidal fought, no fans. This time, fans. Does it make a difference? Will the pro-Masvidal crowd give him the energy that he needs to beat Kamaru Usman? Will Masvidal be able to have a better performance than the last time when he came in on just over a week's notice? Will a full training camp really make the difference here for Jorge Masvidal in his second UFC welterweight championship fight here against Kamaru Usman? Second fight against Usman in less than a year. Their fight happened back at UFC 251. This will be UFC 261, 10 pay-per-views later, and under a year. Their fight was last July, and it was a one-sided beatdown from Kamaru Usman. It was all Kamaru wrestling, striking. He really dominated that fight. Masvidal, landed a couple punches, but not enough, and really wasn't able to get away from the cage. That was a big part of the first fight. A big story was the clinch work of Kamaru Usman, the ability to keep Masvidal pinned against the fence and beat him up and take him down and just kind of weather him, just wear him out and win on points. And really, Masvidal had absolutely no answer to Kamaru Usman last time. I wonder if he has an answer to Kamaru this time. I feel like he won't. I feel like we saw this fight less than a year ago, and Kamaru Usman was so dominant in that fight. I have a really hard time believing that with a full camp, Masvidal will be able to close that gap and beat Usman. I think Masvidal probably delivers a better performance. Maybe doesn't get dominated as badly, but maybe he does, and maybe it's worse, because let's not forget, sure, Usman was preparing to fight, but he wasn't preparing to fight Masvidal when they fought last July. So I think Usman is going to be primed for this fight. I think he's going to come in very sharp. This is the fight that he wanted. He wanted Masvidal. He called Masvidal out after beating Gilbert Burns. He said, I want Jorge next. He's been talking a lot, saying that if he had a full camp, he'd win. Let's see him prove that. Let's see that fight. Let's do it. And now we have the fight that Kamaru, the champion, wanted. I feel like this is Usman's fight to win. This is clearly a Kamaru Usman fight. He should win. He's a massive favorite. I have him different odds here, minus 400 all the way to minus 500. So it varies depending on where you're betting. Of course, go to bet99.com, bet with us, and use that promo code Ringside. That way you get a matching deposit of up to $600 when you use that promo code Ringside over at bet99.com, where they have Kamara Usman as a minus 455. Wow. Heavy favorite, Masvidal plus 340. Do you agree with those odds, AJ? Do you think Masvidal should be such a big underdog? I think we're all picking Kamaru Usman here on the show. I know Freddie's picking Usman. I am definitely picking Kamaru Usman for the win. I think Usman wins by decision. I think he does very much the same thing that he did to Masvidal. Masvidal's super durable. He's tough to put away. So I don't think Kamaru's going to be able to finish him. I don't think he knocks him out. And I don't think he really gets him to a point where he locks him down into a submission. I think that Kamaru just continues to do what he did last time around, wins by decision. Do you give Masvidal a better shot than plus 340, though?
Look, I'm going to tell you something. I was talking to my friend from Nigeria today, and when you look at Usman, there's a reason why he's called the Nightmare. And just to go back, I'm going to give you some stats on the last fight that they had together. Mm-hmm. When you're talking about like the overwhelming presence of Usman, you just look at these stats, man. Out of 341 shots thrown, he landed 263 in that night. That's not a joke, man. That's a guy that's coming out and he's throwing out like machine gun like hits. Then you look at Masvidal, and Masvidal, as you know, he's a striker, man. He came into the game. He's been a name back in the Florida scene, you know, the Miami scene from the days back with Kimbo and all the rest of these guys. But in that night, he threw 157 shots, and he only got 88 on Usman. So you can't beat the Nightmare with like that. Yeah, he's talking about, he didn't have that much, time to like prepare for this fight, and it was on short notice. And he's absolutely right. But he still had the balls to go and fight Usman, which most people probably wouldn't want to put their career like on the line, really, because you're fighting a title, but you're not really prepared to fight. Listen, you know what? There's certain fighters that don't care who they fight. But, that's Mike Perry and things like that. Look at his career. And look at guys that prepare for their fighters like George St. Pierre, like even Bones Jones, Usman. They prepare for their fighter. And they really dissect that fighter because they know what works and what doesn't work against them. Regardless, Usman was able to fight a guy he didn't know anything about. And he threw 341 shots. He landed 263, man. Significant strikes. That says it all. What do I think is going to happen on Saturday? Pretty much the same. And I'm pretty much on the same page with you, Dave. Like, honestly, like, I don't see anybody getting submitted. These two guys are like, Usman is obviously a better wrestler. But when you look at stats, man, like, Masvidal has stopped 77% of takedowns. So the guy is able to control, like, that takedown defense. But Usman is a master, man. The thing is that if it gets to the ground, it's going to be a lot of scrambling and getting back up on their feet. None of these guys are going to be able to submit. They're not submission, like, that's not their forte. I think Masvidal only has like 2 submissions in his career. I believe that this is going to go the distance. Masvidal is like super resilient. He's there to fight. He's going to throw out a fight, and this is going to be the fight of the night, in my opinion. And Usman, man, he's there for a reason. That's why George won't come back and fight guys like Usman. Usman's big, he's fast, he's dangerous. And, man, this guy is a champion, man. Like, there's no way, like, the Nigerian is going to change hands. The championship is staying in Nigeria.
Yeah, I think that Kamaru Usman is the best welterweight on the planet today. I think even if George were to come back at this point all the time away, I think Kamaru would beat him today. I think Kamaru beats George. I think he beats anybody at 170 pounds in the world right now. I think he is the best by far. By far. Extra impressed with him in that Gilbert Burns fight. He was so dominant in the Jorge Masvidal fight. Kamaru Usman is 18-1. Jorge Masvidal's 35-14. 35-14. And like Kamaru said on the show today, on the press conference, you're 3-3 in your last 6. I'm 18-1 world champion, defending over and over, undefeated in how many fights? Masvidal's 3-3 in his last 6.
Yeah, he's
Kamaru
no
Usman,
joke,
Kamaru Usman has won 17 in a row. 17 in a row. He's 18-1. He lost his second professional fight back in May of 2013. Has not lost a fight since. Ultimate Fighter winner, undefeated in the UFC, world champion at 170 pounds, has defended the title 3 times. Here comes number 4. Kamaru Usman at 33 years of age, 18-1, is at the top of his game.
He's got a longer reach.
He's a lock to me. He's a guarantee to win. And I know
and you know what?
The odds are not that good, but to me, he is a lock to win that fight.
Dude, you know what the crazy part is? Today, all day, I've been thinking, what's Dave going to say his lock of the night was? And I was thinking, you know what? He's going to say Usman is his lock. And you called it, man. And I called it. I said this morning, Dave is going with Usman for the lock. And pretty much, if I had to go with a lock, which I usually don't want to put locks into anything other than Mackenzie Dern, but Usman is the lock for me as well. And I think for Freddie, Freddie went with, did he pick Usman?
He picked Usman, but he did not put him in his parlay. I'll give you Freddie's parlay soon. I'll give you Dave's parlay as well.
Listen.
But yeah, Usman, I think he's the lock to win. He is the most likely guaranteed victory. The problem is he is a gigantic favorite, so there's really no value in picking him at minus 455. No. You might want to combine him with a couple other fights on a parlay or go for Usman by decision to get a little bit more value, right? Go for the total number of rounds. Over 4.5 right now is minus 192. Will the fight go the distance? Yes, minus 185. No, plus 128. I'd go with the yes. Kamaru by decision. Usman by decision. So Usman to win is minus 455. Usman by decision, minus 132. I like that play right there. Usman by decision at minus 132. That makes a lot of sense to me. You can bet on the winner of the exact rounds. Kamaru Usman to win round. In that round. Yeah, go ahead.
Look, I don't want to jump in, but the thing is that with Usman, you never know. Look what he did to Gilbert Burns, man. He broke his jaw, dude. This is not a joke. I think if Masvidal was fighting Gilbert Burns, I'd probably go with Gilbert Burns. And the reason is that I find he's a more all-rounded fighter, just a more powerful fighter. Not to take away from Masvidal. I think Masvidal he's amazing. He's up there. But man, to fight Usman for a second time where Usman's going to know everything about you, I think it's going to go to decision. But man, if he could do what he did to Gilbert Burns, man, it might be like a stoppage as well. I don't think Masvidal has a stronger jaw than Gilbert Burns does. I mean, Gilbert Burns had it broken. So it's crazy, man. But I like what Usman was saying. He's frustrated. You know that. He's frustrated. He's I got to fight this guy again. Why? Because I don't know if you saw his comments.
He chose this fight. This is the fight he wanted.
Yeah. But then he's saying, if you look at everybody else in this division, he's how's the champion the most active guy in the division? Which is true. He's fought as a champion more than anybody else.
Yeah.
And then he's saying Covington is offered to Masvidal. He turns him down. Edwards is offered to Covington. He turns him down. Khamzat is offered to Stephen Thompson, and he turns him down. The guys don't want to fight each other, and he's saying that's the problem. He's going to go in there and do his job, but he's not really motivated because he hasn't seen anybody really drive it where he's oh man, this guy's going to be a great contender, and it's going to be a great fight. That's the confidence of Usman, man. When you have a guy out there that's upset because these other guys are not active, they're all dissing their fights, whoever they get, man, how can you not have this guy as a lockdown? The only thing is that I'm thinking decision, he's going to go the distance. But again, man, he devastated Burns, man.
Yeah, but Masvidal's very difficult to put away. He's very tough. He's only lost and been finished 3 times in his career, twice by submission, 1 TKO back in 2008 to Rodrigo Dam in Japan. But other than that, he loses by decision for the most part. He's got a good chin. He's tough to put away. I don't think Kamaru puts him away. I really don't. I think it goes to a decision, and I think Kamaru wins easily. So my play would be Kamaru by decision. I would go with Kamaru winning on the judges' scorecards. It goes all 5 rounds, and Kamaru wins. I mean, look, they fought less than a year ago, and how did it end? Kamaru by decision.
Yep.
I don't really see
No,
this
you're right.
fight ending in a different way. I think, they gave you the spoiler. We know what this fight is like. We've seen it not that long ago. They're not that much different than they were back then. You can say, oh, well, Masvidal had a full camp. We'll see. I don't think he beats Usman with a full camp, without a full camp. If Usman doesn't train at all, I don't think Jorge Masvidal beats Kamaru Usman in any way, any time, any kind of universe. It just doesn't happen. Usman is up here, Masvidal's over here. It's the way it is.
True. Yeah.
Usman is a world-class, world champion fighter. Jorge Masvidal is a middle of the pack, higher, maybe a little higher than middle of the pack, but he's not like a world-class world champion fighter. He's good. He's exciting.
He's a BMF title
holder, who cares? He beat Nate Diaz, who's also a middle of the pack, not world-class, not world champion fighter. A lot of these guys make names for themselves not being world-class. Like, they're good. They're excellent fighters. They beat up me and you and the average Joe on the street and most guys in the UFC, but that upper echelon, there are levels to this game, and Kamara Usman is on another level. There's levels to the game. That's all I'm saying. And certain guys like Nate Diaz and Jorge Masvidal, they're not on that level. They're not on that world championship level. You put them in world championship fights, you put them against world championship fighters, and what happens? They wilt. They lose. Because they're not on that level. Not to say they're not good fighters. They're just not that good. They're not as good as the Usmans or the whoever's that are world champions, the Khabibs, the Rafael Dos Anjoses. They're not on those guys' levels. They're just not.
Look, you know what?
Super chat.
There's a super chat. I'm going to tell you something, Dave. You know what? There's no doubt about it. I mean, Masvidal, and the Diaz brothers, I love these guys as fighters. They make an exciting fight, and I agree with you 100%. They're not at the top. They're more in the middle range, high middle range, in a sense, if you want to call it that. High middle. And the thing is that what really brings them to the spotlight where people know these guys is because they're talkers, man. They're showmen. They put on a show, and that's why the BMF title, people know him. He's got that pizzazz, and that's what people like to see, I mean, he can back it up if he has to. There's never going to be a boring fight with Masvidal. But the thing is, if you look at his stats, man, you're looking at like 35 victories, 14 losses. 18 of those victories came from knockouts, while 17 were decisions. So this guy goes the distance. That's the thing with Masvidal. There's a lot of decisions in his wins. That's 17. And statistically, if you're going to really look at, is he going to be knocked out? Is he going to be able to knock out Usman? Chances are probably not. If you had to look at what am I going to do to probably win this parlay, or win this fight and throw him into my parlay, you go with the decision. Chances are that's coming out, which will pay you a lot higher than just I don't know, just a straight win. Go with the decision, man.
Like I just said, Kamara Usman to win minus 455. Kamaru Usman to win by decision, minus 132 over at bet99.com. That's the play.
You're going to win with that. I like it.
Decision. And will this fight go the distance? Yes, minus 185. No, plus 128. You might want to throw a little bit on that yes side. We all think that this fight goes the distance, and we have Kamaru Usman as our winner unanimously here on the show. Patrick C. Hamilton says Johnny was spot on for this fight yesterday. I don't really remember what he said. Johnny, I guess, was talking about this fight yesterday on our AEW show, but I don't really remember.
Johnny, man, he's a movie star now. I'm surprised he's still on the show and talking to us. You'll get more facts about Johnny. Johnny is actually going Hollywood. I'm going to tell you right now. Can I say it, Dave? Johnny has a movie coming out in summer 2021. It's called Opération Luchador. It's a wrestling movie, subtitles in French. It's an indie film. It's already been out. Johnny is going big. He's going to be having lunch with Harvey Keitel, and they're going to forget about me. So what the movie's about is that Johnny is some kind of he's an evil guy in this movie. And he works with the Nazis and all that kind of stuff, pretty much. So that's what the premise of the movie is. Nazis, wrestling, love story, Johnny Manscaped, and 2021 summer, you're going to get all the details soon. The poster looks amazing, man, and I'm happy for Johnny. Johnny North changed his name to Star. Now it's called Johnny North Star. How did that sound, Dave?
Yes.
Did I sell it? Did I sell it? Are you excited?
Yes.
And it's true, man. It's no bullshit there. Jody has a movie coming out this summer. Ringside Report, man. We don't fool around here, man. We're getting up there. We're going up there. We're getting up to Jake Paul numbers soon. I only hope, man. This guy, did I tell you what I saw as stats? The guy has over 6 billion views. Man.
Okay, let's not talk about him yet. Millions. We'll get to that idiot.
6 billion, dude.
Yeah, that guy's a buffoon. So UFC 261, co-main event. I really like this fight. I think this will be the fight of the night. This is a tough one to call. Zhang Weili taking on Rose Namajunas for the UFC Strawweight Championship. Another title fight here. Another one that I think will go the distance. And I think that we're going to have a hell of a fight here. I think this will be fight of the night. And I'm going to go with Zhang Weili by decision to squeak out another one, just like she did over Joanna Jędrzejczyk in her last fight. I've been super impressed with Zhang Weili. A lot of people expect this fight stays standing, goes to Zhang Weili. If it goes to the ground, it'll go to Rose. I think Rose is very good, all over the place, very well-rounded. But I agree that her strengths probably lie on the ground in this fight, but I don't think she's going to be able to get the takedowns necessary to find those advantages. I think Zhang Weili's legs and hips a little bit too strong for Rose Namajunas. I think that's one of the things in Rose's game that she's lacking, that strength. She's got tremendous speed. She's got tremendous movement, very technical, very skilled. But when she has trouble, when she struggles with opponents, is when she's a little bit out-strength. You know, she's just not as muscular and strong as some of the other fighters that you see. She's got good grappling. She's very technical, but she struggles with
great talent.
She struggles with getting those takedowns, though, and a lot of times getting those takedowns is a matter of power when you're in there against somebody who's also very technical. You know, the stronger fighter usually comes out, and Rose, I think, has struggled a little bit in the strength department. It happened when she got knocked out by Jessica Andrade. You know, and she's had some troubles earlier on in her career against stronger wrestlers. She's really good when she can move around and strike and get on her bike and really get moving. But I think in this fight, she's going to be matched up with somebody who's going to be just as mobile, just as fast, and a little bit stronger. So I think Zhang Weili has a slight advantage over Rose Namajunas, and I think she ekes out a decision victory. I think she has a fight very similar to the one with Joanna, and she winds up winning a very close decision. I wouldn't be surprised if a judge winds up scoring it for Rose, too. Like, it'll be one of those. Could be a split decision. I think it's going to be a very close fight, a very exciting fight, but I like Zhang Weili. She is the favorite, minus 208. And Rose is the underdog, plus 165. Shout out to Angelo. Drop in the super chat. He says, speed alone won't win you fights. That is 100% right.
He's right.
And that's what I'm saying about Zhang Weili. A little bit stronger than Rose. Rose is very fast, but I think she's going to be in tough here with Zhang Weili. Should be a great fight, though. Two fighters at the top of their game. This could go either way. I could see Rose winning this one as well, but I don't see Rose finishing Zhang Weili. I could see Zhang Weili putting an end to Rose, stopping her with a TKO or something. But then again, I said the same thing when Rose fought Joanna. I was like, oh, Joanna's going to beat her, and Rose won't finish her in first-round knockout. So, hey, you never know, and Rose is very, very good. This could be a crazy fight. Like, I wouldn't call this a lock by any means. I'm very confident in Kamaru. I'm very confident in Valentina. I'm confident in Zhang Weili, but not as confident as I am in the other fights, you know? And look, Zhang Weili is minus 208 the favorite. Kamaru is minus 455, and Valentina is minus 476. So you see the odds makers kind of feel the way I do. They're going with Valentina heavy, Kamaru heavy, but Zhang Weili, you know, minus 208. Solid favorite, but, you know, there's value on plus 165's Rose Namajunas. She could definitely win, right?
Dave, I'm going to tell you something. You know, this is one fight that I don't want to go on my parlay or even pick him for a straight win. It's a tough one. This is going to be like razor thin on who's going to win. And to be honest, when you talk about Rose, her name is Thug. There's a reason for that. When she makes the fights ugly, and that's her game. She makes an ugly fight, and she's able to like wear and tear Weili. This is going to be a victory for her. She's able to do it. A lot of the bookmakers are going with Rose to pull off the upset. And if anyone can do it, she can. There's no doubt about it. And then you're talking about like her wrestling game and everything. I mean, this girl has been wrestling since she was in high school. I mean, I was looking at her stats. She started like martial arts. Think about this, guys. How old is she right now? She's
still young,
28.
right? Yeah.
She's 28 years old. But when you're looking at her martial art career, man, this girl started at 5 years old studying Taekwondo. By the time she was 16, she was already doing karate and BJJ at 16, doing high school wrestling. This girl came from a pretty tough background, and she's probably one of the most loved fighters, the female fighters in the UFC or MMA as a whole. Everybody loves Rose. Everybody wants to see Rose win. And the thing is that, you know what? She's got this mental mind, man. Like, if anyone saw the Andrade, the first fight when she landed on her neck there, it was scary, dude. Most people would have just said, you know what, the hell with this sport, man. I'm going to go do golf. And I love golf. No offense to golf. I love golf. But she, like a lot of people thought she was done. Dave, did you think she was done? Honestly. No. Okay. So you didn't think so. But a lot of other people did. And that's the thing with her. She came back. You bastard, you caught me on that one. I knew I was like walking into it. I said, I shouldn't say this, but I'm walking into it.
I didn't. I don't know.
That's all right, man. That's all right. But like, honestly, man, this girl is just like, she's just strong and resilient. Does she have what it takes to beat Weili? This Weili, man, like when you look at her, she's 31 years old. She's 21-1. And most people would be like, oh, like, what does she do? You look at her background, man. She's first of all, she's a purple belt in BJJ. So when it comes to the grappling game, when you're a purple belt, you're up there. She knows what she's got.
Rose is a brown belt.
She's a brown belt, but you know, I'm saying they're like when it comes to the grappling skills, they're around.
She's all right.
And she's all right. And the thing is that you look at Weili, she's got really more that martial art like feel. In China, they love her, man. She's like she's a superstar there. She's like a hero. She did everything from Shaolin Kung Fu. Because I've been doing my research, man. I talk to my Asian friends. They all know Weili. Everybody knows Weili, man.
I don't believe you.
Because I'm telling you, dude, it's crazy.
I hope you're right.
She's like the Jackie Chan of like the now.
Easy.
She's the Bruce Lee of today, man.
Easy.
But I'm serious, dude. I'm not joking. She is that popular. And people are behind her. And a lot of people want to be Weili in China. And remember what the UFC did? They set up the Performance Center in China. They spent millions, I think it was like $10 million to set up the Performance Center in Shanghai. And I think it was Shanghai. But the thing is that they pumped out a lot of top athletes. And when you look at girls like Weili, man, she was a former KLF fighter, championship fighter. This guy's done like so many things through her career. And all to say is that she started off as a cashier, man, in a supermarket. And her dream was to fight. And eventually she got into MMA. And, you know, here she is as champion. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. This girl has a story. She has a lot of people from Asia that look up to her.
Who are you picking?
She's got a lot of support. This is a tough one, Dave, man. This is so tough because
you pick?
Like, you know what? It's a hard one. If
Zhang Weili, remember my name.
That's what I think it's going to be, dude.
There you go. Thank you.
Hey, man. Weili.
I love that. When she won the fight, when she won the title, she won in China, and it happened at like 4 a.m. or whatever, and she just smashed Jessica Andrade, 42 seconds, knocked her out. And then the interview afterwards, I'm Zhang Weili, remember my name. I was like, oh, shit. That was badass. Like, that was a UFC moment, man. I'm Zhang Weili, remember my name. And I was like, I will, young lady. I will remember your name. Good God
Almighty. That's what I'm trying to say is, everybody remembers her name. When in North America, they know your name.
I love her.
You're a big star.
I'm such a fan. I love her so much. I love her. And if she could get past Rose Namajunas, that's the division. She's done it.
That's a division.
That's the division. Right. Jessica Andrade, Joanna Jędrzejczyk, Rose Namajunas. She gets past Rose, she's beat everybody. Like, not everybody, but the best, the top
of the best,
the most challenging. If she can get through Rose, she's done. All she's got to do is beat Joanna again and maybe beat Rose again. Like, that's kind of where she's at. If she can beat Rose, even though this will only be her second title defense, she's almost wiped out the elite of the division. So it's a very big fight for Zhang Weili. And if she loses to Rose, well, hey, we're back at square one with Rose as the champion and Zhang Weili as a challenger and Joanna Jędrzejczyk as a challenger out there as well. But I like Zhang Weili to win. It's a close fight. I will not be putting any kind of money on it. I will not be including it in my official Bet99.com parlay. But I'll tell you who is including it in his Bet99 parlay, Freddie Garcia, who sent me his parlay earlier today, and there it is. He's got Rose Namajunas plus 165, Chris Weidman as well minus 125, and
what's it paying?
Jimmy Crute minus 205, $20 at a plus 611 parlay will pay out 142.14.
Wow, that's a
Not
good
bad.
one, man.
Not bad.
I like that. Yep.
But
like
you're picking Zhang Weili. What do you mean you like that? He's going with
no,
Rose.
I mean I like it for the amount of like return on that bet. I think it's a great bet. You have nothing to lose to go like, you know what, split your bet, put 10 and 10 like on like Fred's pick and one of our picks. But you know what?
Yes.
The only thing is the Weidman fight. That's the only one that bothers me. But we'll talk about that. But going back to Weili, man, this girl here, man, there's no doubt about it. This is going to be a brawl, man. These fights on Saturday night are going to be brawls. They're not going to be like snoozers and sleepers like we saw Holland, the fight prior. Not his last fight, the one before that where it was a main event card and it was like, what the hell we're watching?
Yeah.
That would have been the best night to have Jake Paul on because you know what? Last Saturday's fight, man, was ridiculous. It was a great card that completely got overshadowed by the Jake Paul, boxing circus. The I don't know what it was. The Reach for the Stars music event. I have no idea. But that whole fight got overshadowed. And okay, what are you gonna do, man? We'll talk about that, fun. And you know what?
Whatever. Let's not talk about that right now. Let's go with some other fights on this UFC 261 card. I don't really care about Jake Paul. I want to talk about legitimate fights, legitimate fighters. Valentina Shevchenko defending the UFC Women's Flyweight Championship. The Bullet defending against Jessica Andrade, who is the former strawweight champion. She's fought at 135. She's fought at 115. So why not try her luck at 125?
You know why they call her the Bullet?
Valentina, because she shoots guns.
No. Actually, it's another reason. I looked into it. I'm telling you, Dave, this week was all AJ doing like research. I thought the same thing. Yes, she does shoot guns. She's like a big gun advocate. She could probably pick me out from like across a football field running naked, which I got to do, by the way.
100%.
And you know what? She's amazing. But she actually got her name, the Bullet, from her coach, Pavel Fedov. The reason why is at 12 years old, this girl, remember this, 12 years old, Dave. Think about what you were doing when you were 12 years old. I was still watching like Flintstones and things like that. This girl knocked out a 22-year-old in a fight.
What?
A 22-year-old, yes, knocked
at 12?
Out at 12 years old. So her nickname from that day was that she was so fast. With a knockout, the coach called her the Bullet, and that's where the name comes from. It doesn't come from her shooting abilities. It's her ability to knock out someone at 12 years old, and the opponent was 22. Dude, I remember when I was 22, I was partying like a rock star in like Club Med. Imagine if I got knocked out at 12 years old, at 22. Dude, I wouldn't be on Ringside Report right now. I'd still be like, hiding in shame. But that's the thing. That's what people don't realize. This girl has been studying martial arts, man, since she was a kid. She was 5 years old, man.
Yeah.
By the time she hit 12 years old, she was already doing kickboxing, and she was doing something which I was really surprised. She was doing freestyle vale tudo. And if people don't know what vale tudo is, it's basically balls in, man, all out. It's old school Brazilian.
No rules.
Like, no rules MMA. You can do whatever the hell you want. And this girl is fighting at 12 years old. So tell me what kind of a background she has. So, look, just food for thought to think why she is who she is, and maybe she might have the edge on Saturday's fight.
I am a huge
crazy,
fan.
Man.
I am a huge fan of Valentina Shevchenko. She's done it all. She's been dominating the division she's just incredible, man. She's so good. Her striking is some of the best that we have ever seen in the UFC. She is the best. She is really, really good, and I don't see anybody in the world touching her at 125 pounds. Certainly not Jessica Andrade. I'm more confident.
Andrade, Dave.
I know I said
not to take away from her.
I mean, look, she's not as fast as Valentina. She's got power, but she does not have the footwork or ability to get inside and land the bombs she'll need to land to hurt Valentina Shevchenko. She doesn't have the weapons in her arsenal. She won't be able to catch up with her. She's going to get pieced up, and she probably gets finished by Valentina. If she doesn't at a certain point start fighting, not to lose, not to get finished, and she continues fighting to win the whole time, Andrade is going to get finished. At a certain point, a lot of people, they're losing a fight and they realize, I'm not going to win this fight. I'm just going to fight as much as I have to so I don't get embarrassed and put away here. I'm going to survive. And if Andrade decides to survive at a certain point, maybe she'll survive and lose a decision. But if she fights the whole way through, she's going to get finished. And the only way she doesn't get finished is if she plays big-time defense and doesn't take any kind of chances. If she takes a chance, she's going to get exposed on that chance, and she's going to get put away. That's how good Valentina Shevchenko is. She's the best. I know I said Kamaru Usman was my lock, and you jumped all over it, but, he's a lock to win. I pretty much guarantee it. But the lock to win, bet the house, put everything you have on one person.
Your kids,
it's Valentina. Put
everything.
Everybody. Put your mother on Valentina Shevchenko. All that money you were saving.
Or mother-in-law.
Your COVID stimulus check, whatever you got, put all that shit on Valentina Shevchenko. It won't pay out that much, but goddamn, you will have more money in your pocket at the end of the night because she will 100%. Definitely, guarantee, lock of the night, go with it. Valentina's winning. No chance in hell, Jessica Andrade. No chance in hell. No chance.
Look, wait.
No chance.
Some stats with Andrade. I think she's what now? She lost 2 of her last 3 fights. I mean, it's not like the girl is on a serious winning streak and whatnot. But when you look at her physical conditioning and things like that, this girl, man, when it comes to cardio and it comes to just training, this girl is a fitness freak. I've seen her schedule of training, dude. It's ridiculous. She starts at 7 o'clock in the morning, man, and she doesn't finish till late at night. All she does through the day is train, man. She starts by going to the gym. She goes and does boxing. Then she goes and does MMA. And then she does all these other things in between. Every day at 7 a.m., this girl is already at the gym. When it comes to, discipline, hard work, and cardio, this girl has it, dude. It's not like she doesn't have the capability to win. This her first pro fight was in 2011, man. She has the experience. She has everything. She has everything that you need to win, man. The only problem is she's fighting the bullet.
She's fighting Valentina. I mean, she's good. She made herself world champion at 115. She got herself to this position at 125 to fight for a title. She's a good fighter. But like I said again with Jorge Masvidal, there's levels to this game. Sure. Look at the numbers for Jessica Andrade. She's 21-8. 21 wins, 8 losses. Look at Valentina Shevchenko. 20-3. And 2 of those 3 losses are to Amanda Nunes. By the way, Amanda Nunes is not only the 135-pound champion, she's also so big, she's the 145-pound champion. And Valentina, who's a 125-pound champion, fought her twice, lost twice by decision, both fights extremely close. Extremely close. Yeah. So close that if Valentina wins this fight, I think the UFC is going to set up Amanda Nunes and Valentina again. Even though Valentina's lost 2 fights to her, I think they're going to do a trilogy because there's nobody else to fight Valentina and there's nobody else to fight Amanda. Even though I kind of wanted to see...
And it's exciting fights.
I mean, I kind of wanted to see Amanda Nunes fight Germaine de Randamie again because I thought that was a very close fight. That was tight as hell. That fight could happen again. as far as I'm concerned. I would not mind running that one back. No one is really in there with Amanda Nunes, but Germaine de Randamie was right there. That fight was close as hell. Germaine is still a badass. She just submitted Juliana Pena in her last fight. Like, tell me Germaine de Randamie isn't the number one contender for Amanda Nunes, either at 145 or 135. I know the UFC doesn't like Germaine de Randamie because she was the 145-pound champion, and they wanted her to fight Cyborg, and she's like, I'm just going to give up the belt. I don't want this belt anymore. Which, the UFC doesn't like when you just give up world championships, and that's why they'll probably throw Valentina up against Amanda next if Valentina wins. But I think Germaine de Randamie is the fight. She's the fight as far as I'm concerned. I think she's given Amanda the most trouble of anybody in the past 5 years. But hey, I'm just one man with the best opinions. I'm not Dana White. What are you gonna do?
Dave, you're absolutely right, man. And that's probably what's gonna happen in the end.
No, but it'll be Valentina. It should be Germaine, but it'll be Valentina.
Well, we'll see what happens on Saturday. If for some reason Valentina does not win.
Yeah, right. Lock of the night. Lock of the night. She's my lock of the night. My guarantee pick. Valentina Shevchenko is not losing. No chance.
Right, dude. And what we forgot to say is that most people don't realize. Well, most people do realize. But what we didn't mention here, for the people that are listening, deciding which way to go, obviously you're going to go Valentina's way. She's a southpaw as well. And let's not forget, Andrade is fighting like orthodox. So, you've got that edge with the southpaw. You've got that edge with the 4-inch reach as a southpaw. You know what? You're going to win with the bullet.
That's right. Guaranteed. Let's
guaranteed.
So we are going unanimously all together with Usman, Zhang Weili, and Valentina Shevchenko.
Yes,
Freddie, the lone member of the Ringside Report team, going with Rose Namajunas for the upset. Don't forget, Freddie was the guy who told you Jake Paul was going to win last week, and we were not on that bandwagon. Man. So hey, Fred might be right again.
Champ, man.
Uriah Hall
2 weeks in a row, man.
Yeah, Uriah Hall takes on Chris Weidman. I did give you the big underdog of Jessica Penne last week though for the UFC.
You did,
and I was looking for another good underdog pick here on the card, and I really didn't have one for you. Not a lot of not a lot of great betting advantages here on this card. I don't really see anything that excites me about this card as far as an underdog that you'd go with. So, I'm not just going to come up with some bullshit. I'm not going to give you a fake pick. So I don't have I don't have a great underdog pick. I can give you my whole parlay here in a minute. I am going to throw Chris Weidman on my parlay. I do like Chris Weidman over Uriah Hall. Uriah Hall's last win was against Anderson Silva back in October. He has won 3 in a row, but when he steps up to higher level competition, he really struggles, and I think that he is going to have some problems here with Chris Weidman's wrestling. I think Chris is going to take Uriah down. He will start fast. Uriah is a very slow starter. I think Chris will wind up winning the first and second round and, possibly get knocked out in the third. But if he can survive it, I think Chris Weidman cruises to a 29-28 decision. I think Chris's wrestling will be enough to close the gap and beat Uriah Hall. Uriah is a dangerous striker. He's got some nice spinning kicks and shit like that. But I think Weidman is smart enough and good enough to know what Uriah is going to try and do. He's going to avoid that. And if he can get this fight to the ground, he should win either a decision or maybe even get the submission. Weidman is a very good grappler, and he's got good takedowns, but once it gets to the ground, he's excellent. His ground and pound is really good. He's got good submissions, good control. So I've got Chris Weidman winning this fight. I think there's value in picking Weidman. He is a slight favorite right now, minus 132 over Uriah Hall. And that's something that Uriah Hall has struggled with throughout his career, guys that take him down. His takedown defense and his grappling really is the weakness. Great striker, but once you take him down, he struggles. And Weidman is an elite wrestler. So I'm going to go with Chris Weidman here for the win. And AJ, what do you think here about the Weidman Hall fight? Does Hall pull off the knockout, or does Weidman ground and pound his way to a victory?
Well, this is one of those fights where it could go either or. I mean, if you look at Hall's takedown defense, 69% of the time he's able to stuff those takedowns. 69%. But here he is coming up against Weidman.
Yeah.
I mean, these two guys have something in common. You have one guy that pretty much destroyed the career of Anderson Silva, and then you've got another guy that beat the destroyed Anderson Silva. I mean,
had his last UFC fight.
On his last UFC fight. These two guys are like Anderson Silva slayers. Weidman has slayed him twice. And in fact,
Weidman's a real one.
Slay him, he maimed him.
He ended him.
Twisted Anderson Silva's leg like Gumby, like on a toothpick.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
But not only that,
you know what?
I mean, when he beat Anderson, Anderson was the man, and Weidman ended the reign of terror of the great Anderson Silva. I mean, when Uriah Hall beat him, it was like, yeah, whatever. Uriah Hall just beat an old man.
He was broken at that point.
Yeah, he was done. I mean, it was his last fight in the UFC. It was last October, right? It was like not that long ago. When Weidman beat Anderson, it was like, oh, shit.
Like, even Steven Seagal didn't come and corner Anderson Silva on the Uriah Hall fight. So that's how bad it got.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's a shame because, say what you want. Anderson Silva still came back, tried to fight and whatnot. But,
sure.
One of the greatest fighters of all time, it's Anderson Silva.
He's going to box at some point.
I think it's great. Maybe he'll box Jake Paul, but, Jake Paul will just say he's too old, which he might have a point. But the thing is that, these both guys are 36 years old, man. Weidman is exactly what you said. If Weidman is able to destroy that 69% takedown defense of Hall, once he gets him to the ground, it's a maul. He's going to get mauled. Weidman is his top game is the best in the game. He's going to make your life a nightmare, and that's what's going to happen. And I think, I'm going to give the edge to Weidman. It's not a fight that I'd really say it's a heavy favorite. Anything could happen. But, I think Weidman has that edge. If they're the same age too, they're at the same level of career, man, pretty much. It's like they're at the twilight of their career. It's coming to an end for both of them at some point. And but at this particular
Weidman's talking though. Weidman wants to make another run. He thinks it's a bad matchup for Israel Adesanya. I don't know if he's there anymore in that discussion, but hey,
let's be
he
honest.
can string some wins together. You never know. Chris Weidman is part of my parlay. I'm going to show you Team Dave's parlay here. Sorry, AJ. I want to get to my parlay here over at bet99.com. You go to bet99.com, use that promo code Ringside, and you get a matching deposit bonus of up to $600 when you sign up. Okay? Sign up right now. You get a matching deposit bonus of up to $600. And this is my parlay. I've got Kamara Usman by decision, minus 132 value there. Zhang Weili to win, Valentina Shevchenko to win, and Chris Weidman to win. $20 at plus 455 will net you $110.94 on Team Dave's 4-fight parlay for UFC 261. And we had Freddie's parlay as well. He's going with Weidman, Namajunas, and Jimmy Crute. Once again, Fred's parlay, Weidman, Namajunas, and Crute. $20 at plus 611 gets you 142.14. Fred doing a 3-fight parlay with an underdog that'll win you more money. I'm going with 4 straight favorites that'll win you a little bit less, but they are favorites. AJ, do you have a parlay for everybody? Who are you going with?
Well, you know what? Look, one thing with Freddie that I agree with is that, and I love Anthony Smith. I thought Anthony Smith was the guy
gonna beat John Jones. Yeah, you silly man.
You know what?
Johnny Bones Jones.
Yeah.
Best
Johnny
ever.
Bones Jones, man, wants to fight Jake Paul. But the thing is this.
Does he?
Is that, well, you know what? He's probably going to save. You know what? He's going to make more money with Jake Paul than he's going to make right now trying to hash a deal in the UFC. It's crazy, dude. It's crazy. But anyways, that's coming up, man. And I know a lot of people the internet has exploded this week, man. You have people that are serious MMA fans boxing fans, and they're fucking going crazy about this whole Jake Paul thing. You know, articles that are coming like out of the
Why are you
West
talking
all
about that? Can we
Paul.
talk about the UFC?
No. Yeah, so let me just get back to
Fuck
this.
Jake Paul.
So let me wait. No, man. Wait, we're gonna get to that. Jake Paul is very interesting. It
Fuck
changed
Jake
the face
Paul.
of the game. Like I said years ago, that was
I'd like
gonna happen.
to change his
AJ was
face.
right. But anyways, I'm gonna go with Freddie with the Jimmy Crute, and it's a shame because I don't want to go against Anthony Smith because I really like Anthony Smith. I love this guy. He was man. He's done so much in the game. He's done so much in the game. His upbringing, his whole life has been nothing but like hard times to a real success. You know, now he has a great job as a commentator. As a broadcaster. He comes out, he does his stuff on media. I think he's great. That guy knows the game. The problem is that Jimmy Crute, man, is just a 25-year-old, bro. He's 25 years old. Let's not forget that. Smith is 32, man. You know, he had that opportunity to take the belt. It's probably not going to happen. The motivation is not there. He's basically a gatekeeper at this point. Jimmy Crute, 25 years old, man, a former forklift driver. He was the former light heavyweight champion in Australia for the Hex Fighting Series. This guy has gone through it all. He's a black belt, man, in BJJ. You know, he comes from a boxing side. His whole family, man, were boxers. So when it comes to like the stand-up game, he knows it. So that'd be interesting to see Jake Paul. Maybe fight like a guy like this guy. Probably won't happen. So he's got it all, man. Started at 4 years old, man, with karate. Studied judo at 8. Was already starting BJJ at 11. At 25 years old, he's got all that young power, testosterone au max. He's coming in and he's basically gonna beat Anthony Smith. So I'm with Freddie on this. I'm going with Jimmy Crute.
This is a tough
What do
fight
they call
for me.
him as a nickname?
I'm staying away from this fight. I don't really have a pick. I think that there's value in going with the underdog, Anthony Smith, plus 165, Crute minus 204, the favorite.
Boy,
Smith is a little bit taller. Smith is a little bit taller. He's 6'4" to Crute's 6'2". Crute is a little bit less experienced than Anthony Smith. He hasn't been in there with some of the elite fighters. Like Anthony Smith's beat Volkan Ozdemir, Shogun, Alexander Gustafsson. Like he's beat some good guys, you know, and I don't know if Jimmy Crute is at that level. He is the odds makers.
He's Sam Alvey.
Yeah, but that's not Gustafsson.
He's lost one fight, man. He's 12-1, man. He lost to Misha.
He lost to Misha Shirkunov.
Yeah. He lost him back in 2019.
I mean, so look at who Anthony Smith is losing to, though. Anthony Smith is losing to, like, Glover Teixeira, John Jones, Thiago Santos, like the elite of the division.
Yeah, he's defeated, like, Andrew Sanchez, Lombard, Shogun Rua,
yeah,
Volkan.
man. I don't know.
But he lost to John Jones.
I think there's value in Anthony Smith, and I'm going to pick Anthony Smith. I'm not putting him on my parlay, but I would definitely take him to win. I think he would be my pick. I would go with his win for some value there. What are you laughing at?
Glenn is calling me like a nerd.
You are a
nerd with the facts in it. What do you want to know? Well, you want to know what's his name? Let me just take a look. You know what? I'll tell you what Anthony Smith did before he became to the UFC.
No, I don't care.
Glenn. He was a concrete finisher. Listen, man, he used to work with concrete. Give the guy a break, man. Look at
I'm a concrete finisher.
Andrade was a pharmacist. She was working in a pharmacy. What was that
concrete. I said I'm a concrete finisher. If you know what I mean.
Is that what the ladies say, Dave?
That's right. It's like, my God. It's like concrete all over me. Heavy. Strangely heavy. What's going on? I can't move.
Getting crazy, man.
Yeah, it's weird. What's the value? What's the value in what? DJ Bourne says, what's the value? What's the value for what? What are you talking about? What's the question?
DJ, what's up, man?
The value.
I want to know what DJ's thought of the fight was with all the music acts.
I'm going to try and rebook the Triller. I'm going to try and rebook the Triller pay-per-view. So I'm going to go with Anthony Smith. I think he wins this fight.
Oh, Dave.
But don't put him on my parlay, AJ. I'll send you my official parlay, okay? Which I posted on the show. I know you're going to fake it.
With Smith.
No, not on my parlay, you motherfucker. Don't. I swear to God, if you put it out, I'm going to, I don't know, kick you off the show forever or something. I don't know.
What?
Probably,
Don't be that harsh, man. Listen,
I won't
man,
do
what
that.
do you want me to do? When you guys
tell
were
you
sending
what.
the pics, I had no choice.
I won't do
I
that.
read it down in my notes.
I
read
read
it down in my notes, and I look. Dave loves Uriah Hall. What do you want me to say?
AJ, I can't kick you off the show. I can't do the show without you. So I'll just punish everybody.
You've kicked me off many.
If you put the wrong parlay out,
you put me on like You put me on
timeout,
lockouts and timeouts.
If you put the wrong parlay out on our Instagram or Twitter at Ringside Report, we just won't do a watch along Saturday. No, I'm just gonna cancel the show because I don't want to deal with you on a Saturday night being so nonsensical. And Fred's not gonna be there, so I have to deal with you by myself. So.
Let's get Glenn on. Get Glenn on the show, man. We got to get Glenn with the watch along.
That guy?
Crazy.
That guy?
Glenn, man. G-Mac.
Yeah, if he wants to.
Man, I'm telling you, Glenn has the best hair in the media game. And I'm telling you right now, when you came on, Dave, I'm looking at you and I'm like, Dave reminds me of someone. He reminds me of like what the hell was the guy that went out with Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie, which I almost went out on a date with her. That's a long story. Glenn, no bullshit. It almost happened. But you look like a Brad Pitt, and Glenn, man's got like the Vidal Sassoon hair. This guy looks, I'm telling you, man, every time I see Glenn, he looks like he sparkles. I don't know what he does before the show, man. If he's doing yoga, he's doing like coconut cream.
Steroids.
Hair gel. Steroids. I know Glenn is probably juicing up. Like, I don't want to say like any names, but he's doing the special, like, Jesus juice. But let me tell you, the guy sparkles, man. I want to know what cream he's using.
Glenn's going to some sort of chalet all weekend, so he will not be joining us on the watch along.
Whoa,
okay.
He's
got a
what?
chalet.
I like to see what he's doing at the chalet. I like to be a fly on the wall, man. It's going to get crazy. If people don't know who G-Mac is kind of like he would be like perfect with Dan Bilzerian. I can almost guarantee you that. And don't forget to invite me, Glenn, if that happens.
All right.
Dave, are you there?
Yeah,
I don't silent know. There for
I'm
a second.
just waiting
for
you to finish talking about Glenn and his like hot tub parties. Glenn is like, "Oh, you got to come the next time. There's so many." I was like, "No. I don't want to be in a hot tub with you. I don't care how many other women are there. I'm not interested in being naked in a hot tub with Glenn. Sorry, Glenn. I mean, it's just
sausage fest.
Yeah. Not interested. Thanks, though. It seems scary. So that's UFC 261. There's UFC 261. AJ, I don't think your girlfriend would be happy about that. Anyways, UFC 261 is Saturday night. We will be watching it here with you. The pay-per-view starts at 10 p.m., and that's when we will start at 10 p.m. right here on the Ringside Report Network, 10 p.m. Eastern, Saturday night for the UFC 261 watch-along. There are some prelims on this card, but I don't give a shit about any of them. So let's not talk about them. Okay?
Let's talk about a couple of things that came up. Number one,
Jake Paul.
Corey Anderson. Did you see what Corey Anderson said?
Corey Anderson.
Man, you know what?
Who cares?
Corey Anderson, man. No, listen to
He
this.
won his fight at Bellator last week. Congratulations to Corey Anderson.
But listen what he said after the whole Jake Paul thing and the money that was made and the pay-per-view numbers and everything. He's like, now that's money. And where other money is at Bellator. So this is what he says. I have made double in Bellator with 2 fights within 6 months than he ever did in the UFC with 15 fights. That included 11 wins, 2 bonuses in 7 years. Food for thought, my friend. His quote was, UFC gave me a career. Bellator gave me the life. And now that's the problem. You've got guys like Jake Paul. You've got Bellator that's paying their fighters. The UFC has to step up their game, man, because you know what? The competition is not only coming from the MMA side. You've got competition now coming from the YouTube side. And you know what? In a way, a lot of fighters, I'm telling you, man, it's crazy, dude. Dude, it's for pay-per-view numbers. We're looking at Jake Paul. Are we jumping onto the Jake Paul thing now? Let's jump onto the Snake Paul. And the thing is that this guy, man, is close to 2 million pay-per-views. That is not a joke, Dave. You know that, and I know that. That's not a joke. And you know what? He was fighting Ben Askren that got knocked out in, what was it, like 15 seconds or whatever it was? 6, what was it? Like, what I'm trying to say is that I said this a long time ago, and I don't know if, I know Glenn is listening and all that, but I said the first time I saw Jake Paul on that YouTube thing, and I bring it up all the time, the minute I saw the numbers that were being produced on YouTube for 2 guys to box that I had no idea who the hell they were, but every millennial or whatever you call them now, Dave, what are they called?
What are you
Are they
talking about?
millennials? Like the young kids, man, that supported this guy.
Generation
with
Z,
over 2
Gen Z.
generation. Is that what it is?
People that are usually born in the mid to late 90s to the early 2010s. So I think that's the Jake Paul generation. Like the millennials is like, I think I'm a millennial. I'm like an older millennial. It's like kind of if you
like
were
me.
born
I'm kind of a
in.
millennial.
No, you're not. You're very old, AJ. You're not a millennial. You should be getting your COVID shot because you're eligible here in Canada, but you haven't got it or signed up for it, and I don't know why. I think you're an anti-vaxxer and you're scared of vaccines for some reason. I love that all the people who were like saying COVID is fake and there's no reason to be scared of COVID are the same people who are scared to get the vaccine saying, oh, it's going to do terrible things to my body. Like, you fucking jabronis. Ridiculous. Anyways.
Look, I'm ready to take TRT. Yeah. I'm ready to take TRT. Glenn, send me some TRT.
Yeah, so you take TRT and steroids, but you don't want to take the COVID shot that'll allow you to go and live a nice, free life.
Listen. I'm going to tell you something.
All right, I don't want to hear your anti-vax nonsense. No, I don't care about.
When he went for his photo op, he didn't take that.
All right, take it easy. I don't want to hear your anti-vax nonsense because it'll get us kicked off YouTube, and it's really unnecessary.
What? Why
I'm just trying to encourage you to live a healthy life so you don't get COVID and die because you're old and you're at risk.
Listen, I want to make the Benjamins from Ringside Report, so I'm not leaving yet. But listen to this. Let's look at some of the shit that happened last Saturday.
He's Benjamin from Ringside Report. My brother?
Yeah, he is. He's Uncle Ben. He's not just Benjamin. He's Uncle Ben, man. You got G-Mac. You got Beef. Uncle Ben. You got Hollywood AJ. You got Super Dave. You got Fantastic Freddy.
So Generation Z, the Jake Paul fans, the people that like Jake Paul, they were possibly entertained on Saturday night. I was not. I don't want to watch Justin Bieber sing songs. I hear people say, oh, Justin Bieber's so talented. He's a really talented musician. All I hear him is singing shitty songs with that whiny-ass voice, and he looks like a little bitch. So I'm not trying to listen to no Justin Bieber. He sucks. I'm not trying to watch any fight. I don't care. It could be Conor McGregor versus John Jones in some sort of steroid spectacle. I am not sitting through another Justin Bieber concert to get to a fight. I'm done with that shit. Triller is terrible fight promotion. Dude. I don't want to sit through any of that bullshit anymore. And, I mean, we could talk about Jake Paul, but I want to address... No, I'm not. We're never doing a watch-along for a Triller fight ever again. And this is a fucking guarantee. Fuck Triller. Fuck the promotion. I'm never doing a watch-along for another Triller fight. Or Jake Paul. Jake Paul could suck it. Fuck Jake Paul.
Listen, the best with Justin Bieber, the moment of the night was when he's shouting out. He's shouting out like, Alana, how's it going?
Who?
Yet, Justin Bieber, remember when he was like yelling like, Atlanta, how's it going in the stadium?
There's nobody there.
It was an empty stadium. Who the fuck is he talking to? Snoop Dogg and Oscar De La Hoya that's doing like coke like there's no tomorrow in the bathroom?
Yeah.
Or some of those like dancers like legs? I won't say anything else. I was not gonna go that way, Dave. But this was a crazy night, man. The best, I look at some of like Pete Davidson, that's the host. Like they're looking at quotes, like people are bringing out quotes based on this crazy night. It was a circus of all circuses. You've got this guy saying, they both suck, but at least someone's going to get hurt. Pete Davidson on the main event. You've got, like, the commentator, the host, saying that this fight's going to suck. Dude, it was a circus. But here we are, ready to pull out 2 million pay-per-views out of this fight. And that's the thing that's crazy, man. You know, Jake Paul, man, he's a master of marketing. He's a master of YouTube. I'm looking at some of the stats for just today. Jake Paul views just today. The guy has close to 2,500,000 views just today. The guy's stock is like through the roof. The thing with this guy is he made money. Ben Askren, I listened to him on some podcasts over the week, you know, and everybody says, oh, maybe he pulled a fast one. He took a dive and whatnot. He said it. He goes, I got knocked out by Jake Paul. It's fucking embarrassing. Yeah. And you know what? The truth is that he really got knocked out. There was no doubt about it. Ben Askren got the fuck knocked out. Yet he's going to walk away with millions and millions of dollars, more than he ever got in Bellator, more than he ever got in the UFC. And you know what? He went there to win. But the truth of the matter is that the guy, not to defend, like, MMA fighters. He was a former UFC fighter. Yeah, that's true. Was he the best boxer in UFC? No, he's probably
Hell
at
no.
the bottom line as probably the worst.
No,
but the thing is,
come on
that
now. Listen.
You can see that the guy's coming off hip surgery. The guy has a boxing stance that's completely like a box, which doesn't make sense. The guy has no rhythm in his feet. The guy is a grappler. That's
we
his
learned
game.
some
and
things.
Said it.
Sure, we learned some things on Saturday, but we know Ben Askren is a grappler and he can't punch for shit. We know this.
Yeah, but
we knew this going into the fight. We fucking knew this going into the fight. Here's what we learned about this fight, AJ. This is what we learned about Jake Paul. He can hit and he can hurt guys that have been in real fights. That's what we learned. Guys that can take a punch, that have taken punches before, can get hurt and can get dropped by Jake Paul. Jake Paul is not a guy who can just knock out NBA guys. He can knock out ex-fighters that can't fucking box, that have probably taken a few too many shots to the head, and they're easier to put down. Okay? That's what we learned about Jake Paul. We didn't learn fuck else, other than he could beat guys that are old, that are retired, and that are smaller than him. That's another fucking thing. Jake Paul,
think about this.
Jake Paul is calling out guys that weigh what? 155 pounds? 170 pounds?
170.
He's only calling out lightweights and welterweights in MMA. He's not calling out professional boxers. He's calling out MMA fighters that are primarily grapplers that he outweighs by about 40 pounds. That's not a brave man. That's not a fighter looking to prove himself. That's a guy looking to embarrass some people, and people are taking the money and taking the bait. The problem now is for Jake Paul is that he has figured out, and other people have figured out, that he can hit and he is a draw. So now people are going to take him seriously. Now some real hitters are going to come out of the woodwork and say, hey, you want to fucking fight for real? Let's go. Fight somebody who can hit back. Fight somebody who can fuck you up. Fight somebody your size, right? Jake Paul's not calling out anybody his size. He wants to fight fucking, Dylan Dennis or Conor McGregor. All guys much smaller than him.
Either, man.
No, come on. He's much smaller than him, and he's a grappler. Okay?
Jake
Paul probably beats Dylan Dennis.
Than Ben Askren.
I don't think he is. Okay? Even Tyron Woodley. There's been talk of Woodley. Woodley has looked shit in the UFC for the past couple of years. Shit. His time as a fighter is done. And he's small. He's another 170. I don't want to see Woodley go in there and fight Jake Paul because you know what? He might lose. He might. But fight a 185er. Fight Robert Whittaker from the UFC. Fight Calvin Gastelum. Fight fucking Israel Adesanya. I mean, it's not going to happen, but fight somebody.
Masvidal.
Even Masvidal. Masvidal's a little small, right? Masvidal's a little small, and Masvidal's like kind of middle of the pack. Jake Paul might beat Masvidal in a straight-up boxing match. He might, okay? That's what we've seen, is that he is mediocre at boxing. He is half-decent at boxing. So, is he fucking good? No. Is he half-decent? Yes. But, there's talk of him fighting Daniel Cormier. Him and Cormier been going back and forth.
What?
First of all,
Get the fuck out, Cormier.
You didn't see that? I'll show you.
No.
Look, there's Daniel Cormier's tweet.
Don't mess with DC, man.
The way this dude talked to T. Wood makes my skin crawl. All these kids are going to get taught a lesson, I swear, and I can't wait for it. J. Leon Love, you can't fight. Better respect dudes like T. Woodley before he puts his hands on you. He ain't Ben. No, he's not, but he's close, and he's pretty retired, DC. And here's Jake Paul. Okay, fat boy. So me versus you and Jay versus T? Is he crazy? Is Jake Paul completely insane? And Cody Garbrandt here, he jumps in. He's like, your whole squad would get fucked up. You beat a guy that can't box in boxing. Why won't you come to the cage? Because you're a pussy. So is your whole squad. I'll give up 50 pounds to you and knock that toupee off your fucking head. You'll be exposed soon. And that's another thing. Why won't these bitch-ass motherfuckers, all these fucking boxers, from Mayweather to Jake Paul to whoever the fuck, all these guys want to call out MMA fighters to what? To box. Bitch, come to the octagon and see what happens. Come to the cage. Fucking Jake Paul, you want to do it? Go do a rematch. Go do a rematch with Ben Askren in an octagon and see if he doesn't fucking destroy you.
He's going to die in like 30 seconds, man. But
it's ridiculous.
That's the thing.
Pussy
if it was a real fight, it's a different game. Askren would have made that guy like come close to dying. There's no doubt about it, man. When you're wrestling at a level like Ben Askren does with Boros and guys that are outside the MMA game,
it would have been a demolishment. Paul would have quit in the cage. He would have quit. Yeah.
But listen, the thing is that you've got two sides of the fence here. You've got so many eyes, dude. You've got 2 million people just today. The fight took place on Saturday that are coming to see who this Jake Paul is, and people that think that Jake Paul is the best fighter in the world right now. I'm not joking about that, dude. It really is that. And I keep saying, did it change the face of the game? Yes, I did. And I said that years ago that was going to happen. The first time we saw him fighting on YouTube, I said, this guy's going to fuck up the game because there's a lot of guys in boxing that bust their ass, a lot of guys in MMA that bust their ass. But the thing with Jake Paul is he picks and chooses. He knows how to pinch people's nerves to get that fire going all the way. Imagine someone calling out DC. No one would say shit to DC in front of his face. You're talking like a wrecking machine. But this guy, there's no guy in other sports. You don't hear boxers coming out and saying, I'll challenge DC, I'll fuck him up. You'll never see other guys in other sports, hockey, football, talking shit to John Jones. There might be some guys who think they might be able to take him, but they'll never say it to his face. But here we've got this YouTuber who's got a presence so strong. He's got his goals made. His goals were to be on top of the sports scene, and he is. There's nothing more than Jake Paul this week than anything. Does it take away from the real athletes of boxing, the real athletes of mixed martial arts, the real athletes of just martial arts in combat sports? Yes, it does, because it actually brings down the quality of these fighters right now. And I'm not joking, because right now this guy has more of a following than John Jones has. This guy has a much bigger following than DC has, a much bigger following than anybody. And in fact, he helped Ben Askren become more popular as being a victim to Jake Paul. But Jake Paul, okay, he takes boxing serious. No matter what people say, the guy is training. He's training with legitimate coaches, legitimate training camps, and he's actually going out there to fight. But he's the level of some real boxer at fucking 20 years old that is 3-0 as himself, who's fought in the amateur ranks and really really built his way into boxing. No, he won't fight a guy like that, because that means you have to fight someone that has skills. That's not going to happen. That's why Jake Paul is smart, man. When you're looking at him, the guy has sold more pay-per-views that didn't include Mike Tyson, that didn't include Conor McGregor, that didn't include Floyd Mayweather. That is insane. If you would have said that 5 years ago to any athlete, saying a YouTuber is going to be selling more pay-per-views than some of the guys that are active champions at the moment in boxing, wrestling, or mixed martial arts, they say you're completely nuts. The problem is Jake Paul will bring in just as many numbers on his next fight, and we're going to be there to watch it. We're going to be there to comment, because he's going to fight a legitimate guy the next one.
Don't care.
Everybody wants to see that.
Don't care.
He's bringing it. I care, because
no,
you know
he's
what?
not going to fight a legitimate guy. He's not. Who's he going to fight that's legit? Who's he going to fight? Look. He's not going to fight Daniel Cormier, because I'll tell you. Let me break this down for real, because now we got to take this piece of shit serious. This fucking troll, this fucking mook we got to take this fucking jabroni serious, okay? So let's be serious and talk about it like he's an actual fighter. Who do you find to fight this motherfucker? Okay? Daniel Cormier is not fighting him. This fighter is, Jake Paul is like a 190, 195 boxer. You think DC is going to drop down at this point in his career when he hasn't fought 205 for years? He's been heavyweight. You think he's going to cut weight now as a retired fighter to make it down to what, 205? And we know DC could barely make it to 205. I don't even think he made 205. The towel fucking helped him. Remember when he leaned on the towel and he fucking cheated to make weight. DC can't make
toes,
205. DC can't make weight to fight Jake Paul. Unless Jake Paul wants to go up. Hey, Jake Paul, you want to fight Daniel Cormier at 230 pounds in a boxing match? Fucking good luck. DC will fucking end you. He will end your life, but that shit's not going to happen because Jake Paul is a pussy-ass bitch, and he's not going to fight Daniel Cormier at a disadvantageous fucking weight because Jake Paul is looking to pick and choose his fights that he can win. That's why this next pay-per-view will be bullshit, just like the last pay-per-view, because this motherfucker doesn't want a real fight. He's looking for fights that he can win. There's nobody out there that he will fight that will be legitimate. And you know what the worst part of this whole thing is? His stupid brother is going to fight Floyd Mayweather in an exhibition in June, and his stupid brother is slightly bigger than he is. So, this stupid fuck, Logan Paul, who's an 0-1 boxer, might beat Floyd Mayweather in June and be Floyd's first ever loss in a boxing match, and that's how fucking pathetic the fighting sport is right now. That's how pathetic the fight sports world has been taken by these idiot fucking clown brothers, because Mayweather's like, yeah, fuck it, this guy's not a boxer, this guy sucks, whatever. Guess what, Floyd? If he's fucking 50 pounds heavier than you and much taller than you and trains fucking day and night, he's got a shot. Plus, you're old, you've taken punches to the face, you have 50 professional fights. Hey, man, Floyd might lose. Floyd might lose to that Paul brother. And then what happens?
But that's
and then problem. What happens? What an embarrassment.
That's it. Because then you're going to have like thousands of other like non-athletes that decide that they're going to get into like fighting that actually, and there's nothing wrong. You want to train in boxing. You know what? Number one, go for it. You want to train to fight in amateur fights? Go for it, man. You got millions of dollars like Fournier in his fight last Saturday at Thriller. He's 9-0 now. He wanted to box. He has the capabilities to get the best boxing coaches and whatnot. Good for him. The problem is that you can't allow guys that are fucking champions to think that they're going to have a shot against guys that are 50 pounds heavier. You're looking at this guy, Jake Paul, that goes around at 210 pounds. 200 pounds, my friend, is a big guy fighting a 170er. And especially if he gets that right hook and he gets it on the money, right on the temple, you are going down. You're going down. When you've got 12-ounce gloves, man, not that it's, some people were like, how does Askren go down when he's fighting with 4-ounce gloves and he's getting knocked out by a 12-ounce glove? He should be like absorbing the sponge. Dude, the guy's 200 pounds coming in with a solid right. He practiced that over and over because he knows that Askren would have backed up, dropped his hands like a guy who doesn't have the boxing skills. And that's what kills me. I want to see some boxing elite fighters at 20-something years old, even at the amateur rank, to say, you know what, I'm challenging you, buddy. And you know what, you have to legitimize back the sport of boxing because guys like this are taking it away. And in fact, they tainted the UFC a bit because right now, everybody will, as I've been seeing for the last week, when you've got fucking 6 billion views on YouTube for Jake Paul, you've got like millions of people that think that Jake Paul could smash any UFC guy. And that's the problem. And now basketball, like guys are trying to come out to the challenge like Jake Paul. You've got, I think it was Gil that wanted to come out and challenge Jake Paul. But the guy's 50 years old. Give me a guy who's in his 20s. Give me a guy who's in his early 30s. Get me those guys. And then, you know what? End it there. You know what? Jake Paul's not stupid. There's going to come a time when someone is really going to probably like hurt him.
Yeah.
But the only way that's going to happen is if he's not fighting tomato cans and not fighting guys that have like hip surgery. Ben Askren had hip surgery. Seniors
this is who you fight.
Surgery. And here's a guy that's going into a boxing match that had hip surgery in September and who's like probably the worst boxer. You know what? It doesn't make sense. It's like saying a guy who does boxing decides that he's going to go into the Midwest of the U.S. and decide that he's going to go like challenge any wrestler at wrestling with absolutely like 3 months of wrestling training on YouTube. You will die. But that's the problem. You need to have guys that have to defend their sport. And if you don't defend your sport, you know what? This is going to keep going. And what's going to happen is there's not going to be just Jake Paul and Logan Paul. There's going to be a lot of other YouTubers and a lot of other guys with like gimmicks. They're going to be coming out, and it's going to destroy the sport. You know, you don't see this shit with hockey and baseball and all that kind of stuff in basketball.
I don't think that there are that many YouTubers out there that have a chance in boxing. Dude. There's not that many guys out there that can actually fight. These guys are taking it seriously, and they're fighting, and yeah, it's disgusting, and it's not something I want to see, but eventually they're going to get got, and I'm not going to be suckered into watching any more of these fights unless they are for sure going to get beat. I don't want to watch this fucking guy against Mayweather. I don't want to watch Jake Paul fight Tyron Woodley. I don't want to see him fight anybody. I don't want to see him fight any of these guys unless it's somebody legit. Fight Gegard Mousasi and see what fucking happens to you, Jake Paul. Fight Gegard. Fight a legitimate 185-pounder, 205-pound fighter who can strike. Fight Gegard. You want to fight somebody who's a little bit older? Fight Gegard. See how that fucking goes for you. Fight a hitter. Fight a hitter that's roughly your size and see how you do. Stop talking all that shit and fight somebody legitimate who can legitimately hit and who's your size. Fight somebody your size and see what happens. Don't fight some grappler. Don't be like, in my next fight, I will box Damian Maia. Like, who gives a shit? I don't want to see that shit. Fight somebody who can actually box, you pussy-ass bitch. Fuck you, Jake Paul. Fuck Justin Bieber. Fuck Triller. Fuck the whole goddamn promotion. It was a goddamn mess. Every fight on that card sucked. The concert sucked. The commentary was awful. I don't want to see that shit ever again. Rebook your musical acts, too. Dude. What a fucking shit show of Doja Cat and Saweetie. They were fucking trash. But at least if you're going to have them, don't put Justin Bieber on there. He was the worst. If you're going to have a rap show with Snoop Dogg and Ice Cube and Saweetie, goddamn headline it with a rap act, not with goddamn Justin Bieber. Seems simple enough to me. You couldn't get Travis Scott. You couldn't get Nas. You couldn't get fucking Jay-Z. I mean, you couldn't get Jay-Z, obviously, but you couldn't get somebody that somebody had heard of over fucking Justin Bieber. I know that there are probably some kids out there, the Generation Zs, the Jake Paul fans, that fucking love Justin Bieber. But you know what? I don't. And I don't want to watch any more fights where there's a chance that Justin Bieber might show up. Fuck Justin Bieber. Fuck Jake Paul. Fuck Triller. I am never, ever watching that shit again. It was a fucking disgrace.
Ass cheek spreading. It was strip joint dancing. There was like fucking. You can see guys that were completely smashed, drunk. Man, you can almost see the cocaine crystals in the air. I mean, it was like insane. Like this was not for your kids. And the funny thing is Ben Askren was saying like a lot of his like kids from his wrestling schools were watching this fight to see the poor guy get knocked out. But at the same time, like how do you like there was no boxing but all entertainment. And at one point, like Justin Bieber, which was funny, somebody said he was the most tame of all, even though he's screaming at an empty crowd, like thinking he has 100,000 people. These people are mad. They had a walk-in with Justin Bieber, like he's going through like the dressing rooms and fucking dancing this like little shuffle dance that he was doing. It was just weird, but he was the most tame out of everybody. And the craziest part, you got Snoop Dogg even challenging Dana White, saying, Dana White, you owe me my $2 million because he called him out on that bet. I mean,
he never made the bet. Dana never made the bet. Shut up, Snoop.
I know, but according to Snoop Dogg, man, Snoop Dogg, I like Snoop Dogg is getting involved with this shit.
I like Snoop Dogg, but anybody involved with that Triller pay-per-view can go fuck themselves. Anybody and everybody involved with that promotion, I have no fucking love for anymore. Snoop Dogg, Ice Cube, they're all dead to me. Fuck those guys. Fuck all those guys. Fuck anybody associated with that shit. Terrible.
Dude, you know what? And that's the thing is that no matter what, you might not like it. I might have not liked it. Matt Kazavan in boxing probably didn't like it. Any person that deals with the professional aspect of combat sports is probably, like they've been saying throughout the week, they're like leaving networks because they're fed up to see this guy, Jake Paul, being in the spotlight. But Jake Paul's only goal was really to win YouTube views. This guy is making more money than anybody. And in fact, he filled the pockets of Ben Askren, like I said earlier, that the UFC couldn't do and Bellator couldn't do. And a lot of guys want that easy picking fight. And Jake Paul's going to do it. He's going to pick his next opponent that he knows he can beat, and it's going to carry on. You want to impress me? Guys like Makabu, man. Makabu, who's the WBC champion, man, 200 pounds. These are the guys that are going to call him out and say, you know what? You can probably pull that shit with a YouTuber and knock him out. You can pull that shit with a fucking retired basketball player and you knocked him out. You can pull that shit, which he knocked out, a former UFC guy who had hip surgery that is fucking,
Yeah.
boxing is, not his specialty. Fight a real guy. So guys like Makabu have to stand up.
He
guys
won't.
Like Murray have to stand up.
Why would
guys
you
like
tell?
Breedis have to stand up.
He's not gonna.
These guys need to call, but they have to. Because
yeah, they should.
Guys,
Everybody
these guys have busted
who's
their
legit
ass to be champions.
Yeah.
Anybody who's legit at that top have to defend their sport. And if they don't do it, dude, the circus is going to go on, and a lot of armchair, crazy asses, UFC video game guys, and I love playing video games and love playing UFC video games. These are the guys that are going to come out and start actually, challenging the professional sport of combat sports. It's going to kill the sport, dude. Because
let him challenge me first. Fight me first, and then we'll see how you fucking do. Fight me first, YouTubers.
You know what Jake Paul said?
I want to fight some people on YouTube. If that's how we're doing things, AJ, let me fight some people. Anybody out there, fucking pussies, let's go.
No, bro.
I should call people out. I'm going to pick and choose some easy fights, too.
You want Dave to fight? We need to get our YouTube hits. We need about fucking a couple of million YouTube likes, and then the guy might start listening. And you know what? We're not there.
I don't want to fight Jake Paul. He's too big. I'm not fighting him. I fight somebody my size. I don't want, or smaller than me. I want to fight somebody else who's on YouTube that's smaller than me. Okay.
Hey, how about Steve Urkel? Imagine even Steve Urkel.
I'll fight Steve Urkel.
This was crazy.
I will destroy Steve Urkel in a fight.
Who was there, man? You had fucking Steve Urkel. You had Ric Flair. I couldn't even believe that shit. They actually had a competition of a slap competition.
I'll fight Ric Flair.
This was like fucking Willy Wonka's combat dream of craziness. This is what it was. And you know what? The bottom line is, here we are talking about it because we've got no choice. And there's a lot of people that are probably saying, what the fuck is Ringside talking about Jake Paul? But we've got no choice, dude, because the bottom line is this guy is 3-0. And you know what? The craziest part is Jake Paul is on SureDog. Jake Paul is on the boxing.com's actual boxing repertoire of active fighters. That's the problem. He
won't be for long.
The real deal.
He won't. No, he's not.
Deal in combat.
No, he's not.
But
it's pretend.
Unfortunately,
if you know anything about combat, you know that it's bullshit.
I know, dude. But he's on SureDog. He's on the boxing networks.
Whatever.
He's registered as an active boxer with a 3-0 professional record.
And guess
what?
So
how do you take that to the bank?
Now he's got a target on his head. Now he's got a target. Before, people weren't taking him seriously. Now that he knocked out Ben Askren, now he's got a target on his head. Now people want to take him out. Now he's in.
Agree with you.
Now he's in with the big boys. Now real motherfuckers are like, excuse me? I can make how much to fight this punk-ass bitch? Yeah, I'll fight him. Now he's in with the big boys. Good luck. Where's Brock Lesnar? Get Brock to fight him.
No. Well, fuck. Nah, he's too big, Brock. But I'm talking about. Listen, forget about the MMA and wrestling guys.
All right.
I'm saying the call out
boxers.
is to the real
yes,
boxing
boxers
guys.
should call him out.
Boxers.
Yeah, because you know what? Real boxers. AJ named some champions I've never heard of, and I've heard of Jake Paul, and that's sad. You know, the real boxers are out there winning fights, winning championships, and no one gives a shit, and no one's paying any attention. You know, Jake Paul's little buddy there, Jay Leon Love or whatever, apparently is a real boxer. I've never heard of you, Jay Leon, until you fucking started chirping behind Jake Paul. Fucking talking that shit. You pussy. Fight MMA, you pussy. Fight in the cage.
You know
what?
Where's
Fight in the cage, you punk-ass bitches.
Where's Paulie, man? Paulie Migalachi, or whatever his name is.
Paulie Malignaggi. He lost a bare-knuckle boxing match to Artem Lobov. That guy's not talking.
I know, but it was...
Speaking of bare-knuckle...
You know what?
Masvidal starting a bare-knuckle MMA promotion. He's going to be the promoter of a bare-knuckle MMA league. So that's starting. There you go.
Well,
and the PFL returns tomorrow. Their new tournament. They have a 155-pound tournament. Our buddy Olivier Aubin is going to be in the tournament. Not fighting tomorrow, but Anthony Pettis will be fighting Clay Collard tomorrow for PFL. Pettis making his debut
Tomorrow
in the
night?
promotion tomorrow night, PFL. And that's it. That's the
I'm gonna
show.
watch it.
Follow AJ at Danny Bruck. You can follow Ringside Report at Ringside Report on Twitter and Instagram. Go to ringsidereport.net to see us. I'll be back here tomorrow night, 10 p.m. right after SmackDown for Wrestling Uncensored. A big shout out to Angelo. You are the Super Chat leader of the night. Thank you to Patrick as well and all the members of the team. Don't forget to become a member. Like the video. Go to donate.ringsidereport.net, merch.ringsidereport.net. We'll see you again tomorrow night.